You're suggesting it sounds like you were suggesting that you don't have to have license or registration or insurance. Is that what you were saying?
I have documentation of that from the Supreme Court rulings. Yes.
Have you read everything that you're about to send me?
Yes.
You're supposed to take all this stuff out because none of this stuff has anything to do with what you're talking about. None of it.
You read
actually, some of the cases are directly opposite, and they state that you have to have a valid license. This stuff is nonsense.
All right, folks, today's courtroom clip is definitely one to remember. A man who claims to be a sovereign citizen is facing serious traffic charges. 6 in total, including driving without a license, no insurance, and not registering his vehicle. But instead of answering the charges directly, he goes off on a series of unrelated legal speeches. He starts mentioning old court cases and makes arguments that don't really apply. It's clear he's trying to avoid taking responsibility, but the judge doesn't let it slide. Staying calm and in control, the judge breaks down each of his claims and keeps the hearing focused. You can tell this defendant doesn't quite grasp how the law actually works, and the way the court reacts says it all. This is one of those moments where you just have to see it to believe it. Drop a comment below. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate his courtroom strategy? Let's get right into it and watch how this courtroom drama plays out.
No, well, listen, what we're saying is that we're trying to get you an offer, but it's my understanding after talking with your lawyer that that you don't want to accept anything. What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
The thing is, I don't know what court cases is being brought up. The recent ones or the one that I already have a trial for?
I think all of the cases that are on the docket, everything that's on the docket, that you already had all this stuff set for trial. And what we did probably, okay, I see what happened.
I sent some paperwork in, but some of those cases I got kicked out of Zoom. I send in the pictures through that document website, and I don't know, and I send paperwork to the law department for FOIA for the court cases.
Okay, what documents did you send in to the court?
It was the case where I had got kicked out of Zoom, and I sent in the pictures where I got kicked out of Zoom. I think that was the January of this year case, and they was like, if I sent in the pictures showing that I was kicked out of the room because I thought the case was dismissed, and I got kicked out.
Okay, so what do you have any documents that relates to your driver's license, insurance, or registration?
Like told the lady, the one got me him, the judge, the person that I talked to on the last court case said, we don't have no problems with you. And I said, I'm going through the process of doing my documents to take care of Dearborn, because Dearborn the one that got him out. They didn't honor none of my paperwork.
We're talking about Detroit. Do you have any documents? Hold on, let me ask my question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask my question. Do you have any documents that suggest that you have valid insurance, valid registration, and a valid I can run your driver's license?
I don't have anything. I don't have anything because Dearborn the one that got me hemmed up. I can't even get no insurance without no license.
Okay, so so what we're trying to do, every case that you have down here in Detroit, we call into the record. And we have 2 officers. The other cases are going to be dismissed, but we have 2 officers here that are here. And what we're trying to do is either make a resolution now, and we'll present you with an offer. And if you don't like the offer, you can just go to trial. Today is the date time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Today is the date and time set for trial. So, are you willing to entertain an offer to resolve the cases, or do you want a trial on all the cases?
I mean, which did you say some of them are gonna get dismissed? I only have 2. I know the one that I recently got, everything is for the same thing.
Yes. So here's the
basically,
deal. Here's the deal. Let me break it down to you. It's 2 officers that are here. Corporal Bennett wrote you 1, 2, 3 tickets that are up to date, and Officer Dunn wrote you 1, 2, 3 tickets that are up to date. The other officers that wrote you tickets are not showing up, have not showed up, and we're just going to automatically dismiss those cases. So we can get you an offer on the 6 tickets that those 2 officers wrote you. Are you willing to entertain the offer for those 6 tickets?
Benny and Dunn. Benny is the recent case, so that one I want to go to trial. I think the one I'm in trial for now is Dunn, correct?
You're on trial for both of them. Dunn and Bennett are set for trial right now.
So nobody received my paperwork, my traveling paperwork?
What is the paperwork gonna tell us?
Basically, I don't need no driver license, et cetera, et cetera.
What is this guy even thinking with all that paperwork? He walked into court acting like he had some secret weapon. Like one piece of paper was going to cancel out state law. It's almost like he expected the officer to look at it and just say, "Sorry for the trouble." He genuinely believes that these homemade legal documents are more powerful than the actual traffic laws. At times it feels like he's trying to rewrite the rules himself, claiming things like licenses and registration don't apply to him just because he says so. The wildest part? He's not joking. You can see in his face, he truly believes. This stuff, to him, a driver's license is more like a Netflix subscription, something you can cancel whenever you want. Sure, some folks might fake the sovereign citizen routine to dodge a ticket, but this guy, he's all in. He believes every word coming out of his mouth. What do you think is going on here? Let us know in the comments. And now, let's head back into the courtroom to see what happens next.
Well,
no proof of insurance, and my car was towed illegally those 2 times.
And what does the paperwork say why you don't need a driver's license, why you don't need any insurance or anything like that?
I send the paperwork into the law department, and I wanted the FOIA for the body cam and dash cams. And I haven't heard anything from them.
All right, we can get you that. We can get you that if there's some of that exists. Corporal Bennett, can you put your appearance record, Corporal Bennett? Hold on, Mr. Lynch.
Yes, Your Honor. Corporal Daryl Bennett, badge 4320, Detroit Police Department.
All right. So we need to get if there's any body cam or dash cam, we need to get that to Mr. Lynch.
He has to go through the law department to get that, Your Honor. If he's requesting it, he has to go to the law department.
Well, that's what he said he tried to do. He said he tried to figure. Let's see if we can get that now.
We can't get, Your Honor, our person that would do that is on vacation at this point. There's nobody in the office that can get that for him today.
Okay, now can I say something for the traffic ticket that was done? The other officer didn't put his name on it.
Your Honor, can we just get an adjourn date when the people think they can have their video available?
Yeah, but I wanna just, what I'm trying to do is I don't want you to say anything as it relates to the traffic stops right now, because today is the date and time set for trial. But I'm gonna tell you this. You're suggesting, it sounds like you were suggesting that you don't have to have license or registration or insurance. Is that what you were saying?
I have documentation of that from the Supreme Court rulings, yes.
All right, well, you need to get me that documentation because
Well, what's the email so I can send it to you?
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, my phone not seeing none of that. Only thing I'm seeing on my cell phone now, if I was on my desktop, remember last time I had issues with my desktop, so I'm on the cell phone, And I don't see no chat or anything.
Well, you should be able to hit the button down there and it should
Okay,
pop
let me
up.
see. Can I see something? Cause all I see a whole bunch of squares with everybody's face.
You got to come out of that screen.
Huh?
You got to come out of that screen.
What screen I got to come out of?
The one you have to come out of the screen where everybody's face is.
Okay, I don't know how to do that. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to get kicked out like I just did when I was in the breakout room.
You didn't get kicked out. We pulled you. All right.
I had to join back in through. I had to go back to 36 District Court website and get back in the Zoom room.
Okay. All right. Let's pass the matter and we'll try to figure out how to help you with the technology. And in the meantime, we need to. Do you want an attorney appointed to you, sir?
I've been trying to get an attorney. Nobody will take my case. So how if the appointed attorney don't want to accept my paperwork, then I'm up the creek like in Dearborn. So that's why I'm trying to study how to write the court cases all the way to the Supreme Court. So I'm doing that right now.
All right. Well,
Dearborn is the reason why my license is suspended.
I really want to see what you're talking about, Supreme Court, because I've never seen a Supreme Court case. Wait a minute. Let me finish. I've never seen a Supreme Court case that says that you don't have to have a license or insurance or registration. Now I'll tell you this. I'll admit, I haven't seen all the Supreme Court cases, but I have never seen that. And I've seen a thousand people come in here saying that. Well, not 1,000, but a whole lot. And I've never seen it work.
So when Mr. Bennett Officer Bennett pulled me over, he was like, no, I ain't. He said, I ain't going for that sovereignty stuff. I said, I don't know what that is. I'm talking Constitutional Supreme Court ruling, and they towed my car. Okay, after 36, what was it? I didn't get that part.
After 36 is districtcourt.org.
Okay, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna get it online and send it on my laptop.
I'm gonna be anxiously awaiting that. All right.
All right. I'm gonna send the law department thing too.
I'll be anxiously waiting all of that, and I'll pass the matter. It looks like Corporal Bennett is gonna be anxiously awaiting. It's gonna look like Officer Dunn is gonna be anxiously awaiting it. Prosecutor Mason is gonna be anxiously awaiting it, and I'm sure Ms. Soroki is gonna be, and everybody else in the room. Because this could be some groundbreaking stuff right here.
Now we're at the point where the judge, staying calm and professional, actually offers to help this sovereign citizen send in his so-called legal documents. These papers supposedly prove he doesn't need a driver's license, but spoiler alert, they don't. It's the same old routine. Claims that he's a free man, arguments that the government has no authority over him, and pages full of made-up legal talk that no real court takes seriously. The funny part? He's using public roads, driving on taxpayer-funded infrastructure. And yet, he's arguing that the laws the rest of us follow somehow don't apply to him. It's like walking into a bank and saying, I'm royalty, so I don't have to pay my mortgage. That's not how anything works, and definitely not in a courtroom. Let's head back and see exactly how the judge handles these bizarre claims.
Okay, I'm trying to put the attachment in. Here it comes.
Have you read everything that you're about to send me?
Yes.
No, I bet you haven't.
No, the affidavit, yeah.
No, this case stuff you're about to send me.
Yes, it's only 2 attachments. I got to get the right one because the first email was the wrong stuff.
Are we on the record? Let's go back on the record with Lynch while he's sending that. Let's go back on the record with Lynch while he's sending that. I'm going to say this. I hope you've read everything that you sent me, and because you're filing these documentations with the court, And you're suggesting that these documentations report, are saying, are in support of you not having to have a license and insurance and registration, I believe, or all three of the above, or at least one of them. Wait a minute, let me finish making my record.
Okay.
You're suggesting that the Supreme Court says you need to have either none of those documents, or at least you don't have to have one of those documents. So all I'm saying is I hope that you are actually have read and gone over what you're sending the court, because as I said earlier, I've never seen anything that that supports what you're saying. I get people in here that submit. I can type in "don't need a driver's license" in the search box, and they'll give me a list of cases. And I hope that's not what you've done.
Honestly, I'll never understand why sovereign citizens keep pulling these ridiculous stunts. Like, seriously, just pay the ticket, get a license, and move on with your life. It's really not that deep. If you're so anti-government, then why stick around in a country that runs on laws, roads, and public services? There are places in the world where you can live off the grid. Go there. Instead, they flood our courts with fantasy arguments and bogus paperwork that means absolutely nothing. And while they're doing that, real cases that actually matter, get pushed back. Judges waste hours untangling this nonsense, and that backlog just keeps getting worse. Meanwhile, serious offenders sometimes slip through the cracks. It's beyond frustrating. These folks aren't just wasting time, they're clogging up an already stretched system with made-up rules and zero legal weight. Every group's got their outliers, sure, but sovereign citizens, they've got to be some of the most infuriating ones out there. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And now, let's jump back into this courtroom madness to see how it all plays. Out.
Now, this is another document that he sent me. This is the U.S. Supreme Court travel rulings. Motion to set aside default. The case number is SB 15379-421 and SB 155-47541. To whom the dear Judge Sean B. Perkins, and to whom it may concern, the burden of truth is on me, or then it will just be my word against others' words. I, Clyde Darrell Lynch, always traveling, Supreme Court rulings on travel, along with being put in ransom for illegal profit gains against my federal freedoms / liberties and / or etc., as it is proven below, and an unnecessary burden of cash out of my pocket, etc. For what? Question mark. I do not have gold or silver to pay this debt and / or a promissory note. Driver, one employee in conducting a coach, carriage, wagon, or other vehicle with horses, mules, or other animals. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Here's what the court is talking about right here. I figured he was going to bring this up because all Mr. Lynch did was he went on the Google search and searched basically, I don't know exactly the terminology, but he put driving, don't need to drive without a license. And all of these same cases come up. And this one case really bothers me because that's why I asked Mr. Lynch, did he read the cases? Are you familiar with your Black history, Mr. Lynch?
Okay, is the paper that you're reading is the one that's saying titled Supreme Court ruling and U.S. Constitution?
Yes.
Okay, that's not updated, but the other ones I sent, those are the ones that's relevant. The one that say Law Depot, it's like 6 pages, but the last 3 is the affidavit and the FOIA paper. You already seen that for the dash cam, etc. But the Law Depot, the first 3 pages is just the website information telling you how to do it. I actually went to school for criminal justice and private investigator, but I didn't finish because I got kicked out for no necessary reason. I've been fighting that ever since. But I actually went to school for business management and law, but I didn't finish.
Okay, now it all starts to click. Turns out this guy went to law school, dropped out, then tried business school, and quit that too. And now he's rebranded himself as a Moorish citizen. Yeah, because apparently, when all else fails, you just invent a new legal identity and pretend it overrides reality. Let's be real. Why actually study the law when you can just make up your own version and shout it in court like it's gospel? I bet this guy sat in some coffee shop, sipped his latte, and said, "You know what? I don't need rules. I'll just freestyle the Constitution." Genius, right? Honestly, does he strike you as someone who was ever serious about law school? Or was he always more into fantasy than facts? Sound off in the comments. And now, let's head back into the courtroom chaos and see how this legal improv act plays out.
I see.
So technically, but I went to a Morris facility and learned the Constitution and everything. So put all that together. That's what I'm involved in right now. So
Okay. So let's just discuss. Let's just take it down. Break it down. What I asked you was, you provide me documentation to show proof that the Supreme Court says that you don't need a driver's license to drive a vehicle, right?
Your Honor.
I'm asking you a yes or no question.
Okay, all I want to say, that Supreme Court paper, you can forget about that. That Law Depot paper is what I've been working on, and I'm still trying to figure out how to go through the court cases all the way to the Supreme Court. So I'm studying and learning how to do that, to do this, to take care of Dearborn, because Dearborn is the one that got me in limbo right now.
But what I'm saying is, I don't need to see any Law Depot. I don't see any Law Depot. I asked you a question earlier. I said, I hope that you're bringing these, the stuff that you're. Wait a minute. I asked you a question, and I said, I hope that you're sending me these papers and these cases and in support of you not having to drive with a license. And I hope that you've read the cases that you're using in support of what your belief of the law is and the Constitution and stuff. And I get this, and I've done it. You're not the first person that's done it. And the reason why I ask you, are you familiar with your African American history, particularly the civil rights movement, is because you have submitted a case, Shuttlesworth versus the city of Birmingham. And you submitted this case in support of you not having to drive with a license. And it's kind of like throwing mud in Reverend Shuttlesworth's case, because Mr. Shuttlesworth, I'm sure he was a reverend. I'm sure that Mr. Shuttlesworth had a valid license and doesn't believe what you're trying to use this case law for. I wish you would have taken time to read what Reverend Shuttlesworth had to go through on this day, on April 12th, 1963, when he's trying to fight for our civil rights.
So much better, like single.
Because I think if you would have read it, you would have seen that most of what you have put in here and all the cases that you have put in here are complete. A Shuttlesworth has nothing to do with what you're talking about. And the other cases,
I understand that like I stated, Your Honor, that paper is not updated. Right there, I supposed to took that out. The Shuttleworth and Dude, the Alabama? No, not Alabama. I supposed to have taken that out.
Cool, yeah, you don't say. This dude is straight up goofy. I mean, really? Claiming he forgot to remove one case out of his 36-page manifesto? That's comedy gold. Honestly, he should have just deleted the whole thing. But nope, he's out here pulling the classic "I'm so confused" act like it's gonna earn him a get-out-of-jail-free card. Let's be real, this is just peak time wasting. The judge should slap him with the fine and move on. Watching. This is like seeing someone dig their own hole, dive in, and then wonder why they're buried in nonsense. Textbook sovereign citizen. Playbook. Stall, delay, distract. I've seen some of these guys roll in with 100-page documents thinking it's some legal Uno reverse card. Spoiler alert, it never works. You're still paying the fine, my guy. At this point, are sovereign citizens just society's biggest trolls? Because honestly, that seems to be the whole brand. Let me know what you think, and let's jump back into this courtroom disaster.
You're supposed to take all this stuff out because none of this stuff has anything to do with what you're talking about. None of it.
You read
Actually, some of the cases are directly opposite, and they state that you have to have a valid license. The one with the wagon and the coach, what was that guy? He's in 1903. I forget the case. He's driving a coach. He's got a car in 1903. He's got a car in 1903. He had big money. And he's driving his car up this dirt road and he's speeding. And they give him a ticket. And they say, not that he doesn't have not to have a license. They just wanted to automatically revoke his license because he had a license without a hearing. And he's saying, you can't do that. I have to have a hearing before you're able to take my license from me. So he's not even saying what you say he's saying. So this stuff is
in Birmingham. I supposed to have took that out. Like I stated, I haven't updated that.
Well, you know something, I wish you would read this stuff before you even put it in this document. Because that's what you're supposed to do. I can hold you in contempt for filing filing this irrelevant stuff.
Do you get the law depot document 3?
I got the law depot document.
Okay, but basically that sums it up right there. That, like I said, that's not even updated paperwork. I sent that by mistake. That's why I sent the FRA paper. But that right there, I'm supposed to update that. But the law depot 3 document is 6 pages. The first 3 just tell you how to do the affidavit, which I forgot to do, but that refreshed my memory.
You know, I'm gonna tell you this. Everybody that's coming here with this, they didn't win. I'm gonna say that first, right? And then some of the people agreed me and went to the Judicial Tenure Commission on me, and they quoted the same stuff. And guess what happened? They didn't win either. This stuff is nonsense. Stuff is nonsense. I'm waiting for you to tell me which court case applies, because you have Shuttlesworth in here, and that absolutely doesn't apply. So what you're saying, I would like to just one court case, just show me one out of all this stuff that you've given me, one court case that you said applies.
Well, like I stated, Your Honor, that little paper always get people upset. That I send that one, but it hasn't been updated.
But you shouldn't send stuff that hasn't been updated to the court. But I'm just asking you one case. Tell me one case out of the stuff that you sent me that says it applies to you and your position of you not having have to have a driver's license.
The law depot document 3. That's what I sending.
I know, and you're saying I'm asking you out of this law depot document 3. You have Howlett versus Rose, Boyd versus United States, Murdoch versus Penn, Owens versus Independence, People versus Bottle Traffic. You have another, constitutional articles. Tell me one of these cases that applies to your position that you don't have to have a valid driver's license to drive on the road. Give me one.
Well, if you caught that awkward silence in the courtroom, you know this sovereign citizen's got zero comeback. Not even a fake case name. He couldn't name one single example where driving without a license was allowed, because if there was one, trust me, he'd have pulled it out faster than a cop writing a speeding ticket. Instead, he's just sitting there, acting like some legal genius. But all he's really got is a backpack full of made-up rules. And here's the reality check. Under real US law, you need a license to drive. No sovereign citizen loophole, no magic exemption, just cold, hard facts. Honestly, compared to other wild ones we've seen, he's being more respectful. But respect doesn't win cases. No legal precedent, no valid defense, just vibes. At this point, the judge should just drop the hammer and hit him with the fine. Let's jump back in and see how this circus wraps up.
Howlett versus Rose. Federal Supreme Court case applied to state court cases. My traveling documents, Supreme Court rulings, and the United States Constitution of travel is in this attachment and others not included have been stolen, sold, or to duly shared. I don't know. Let's go with Howlett versus Rose. Let's see what that says. I got a few more minutes before I have to send everybody to lunch. I just want to know. I just want you to see how ridiculous this sounds. Let's go to the law depot, doctor.
Yeah, if I speak, you want procedurally?
You have to speak up loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. Procedurally, do you want to give him a court-appointed attorney? And when you come back?
You know something, I don't want to waste the resources on the court because Mr. Lynch is probably going to present this to the court-appointed attorney. I can ask him whether he wants to, but if he presents this stuff to the court-appointed attorney, then they're probably going to come down on the same.
And
I can go into court records and find cases where the case was dismissed with the same issues I'm in. I will find a case and I will present it to you.
and he did indicate he was having a problem retaining counsel because they wouldn't accept his paperwork. So
Yeah, I see why. Howlett versus Rose. Rose was a case in which high school students sued the school board after his car was searched on school grounds and he was suspended from school. He sued under 42 USC 1983, which creates a remedy for violations of federal rights committed by persons acting under the color of state law. The student claimed he was suspended without due process because his car was searched in violation of the 4th and 14th Amendment. The court dismissed the complaint against the school board for lack of jurisdiction. Where does that say you don't have to have a valid license?
Your Honor, I will get up-to-date cases where court cases were dismissed with my same issue. I will get the court the up-to-date 2020 to 2024.
I believe it's a waste of time. What are we, today's the date time set for trial?
Yes, sir. Do you want to take testimony right quick?
Do you want a trial, sir, or what do you want? I'm not. So you want a trial? We can take testimony now, or you can take the deal. This stuff that he's talking about that he's presenting to the court, yeah, I think it's a waste of time.
I go to trial.
Your Honor, he did make a FOIA request for the video and those things. I think they should be presented before he goes to trial.
Yeah, I'll give him that. He did. All right.
Do you guys actually feel bad for this dude? Because honestly, part of me wonders if he's just mentally checked out or really thinks he's uncovered some secret legal code nobody else knows about. Maybe he's not trying to waste everyone's time on purpose, but man, he's doing a great job at it. He literally says he'll bring the correct documents next time. Bro, what were you doing all this time? Just Googling random nonsense? You had one job and showed up with 36 pages of pure internet gibberish straight from the Sovereign Citizen fan club, and the case he referenced at the end didn't even fit his situation. The judge looked at him like, what are you even talking about? If you're gonna pretend to know the law, at least learn the law. But nope, this guy's living in his own fantasy world where traffic laws are optional and a stack of papers means you're untouchable. So what do you think? Is he just lost and maybe deserves a little sympathy? Or is he seriously a contender for Dumbest Defendant of the Year? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this madness, don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate you all for watching. Catch you in the next one.